What's going on, people? Say, hey, it's your boy Brandon, man. Hey, I know it's been a while, but hey, I got somebody special for you. Look at that. See, I've been going all this time. Look, I got a vet for you, man. This guy right here. Hey, to me, he's legendary, man. Well, almost. He gonna be immodest, man. Nah. But I'm going straight to it. Hey, this is Nick from Nick Talks Brazil. Hey, he took some time out, man, to show me some love. You know, hey, me being out for
7 months.
Well, that's YouTube. I've been out for YouTube, and yeah. Now I ain't posted in 7 months in YouTube, but I haven't been back in Brazil about a year. But this is my 3rd week back. And hey, man, I ran into this guy right here, man. I want to say appreciate you for,
My pleasure,
man, for letting me get the time to, you know what I mean, to pick your brain, man. Cause you know I've been out for a year, and you've been here for what, just about that time, right? Probably a little bit longer, year and a half. Yeah. So I'm gonna get right to it, man. Hey,
let's go.
Yo, all right.
Good to be with you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Hey, definitely, man. All right, so being here for a year, man. Like, so far, no, let's back this up, man. This is, cause, hey, I want to go back to when you first got here, man. Up until first ever, man. So go ahead, man. Just, yo,
well,
if you want to, my bad. If you want to, man, you go tell who you are and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. So. My name's Nick. I have, as you said, my channel's called Nick Talks Brazil. I've been coming to Brazil for many times over the last 10 years. And I'm originally from Toronto, Canada. So, you know how the winters are there. You have them in northern U.S. as well. So I basically came to Brazil to escape that and just change my life and all that stuff. But I will go to the very beginning, my very first time here. And I didn't really know what to expect. I always knew somewhat a little bit about Brazil. And I was always curious because I was a huge soccer fan, watching the big teams of Brazil and whatnot. And I was always wondering, okay, I want to visit a tropical place. I've been to Florida when I was younger, many years ago. Let's go to another tropical place. And honestly, I was very nervous. I'll be 100% honest with you guys. Nervous. My Portuguese was like, maybe intermediate, lower, beginner, intermediate at best. And sorry about the noise, guys. But so I didn't really have a good command of the language. So that basically could be an issue too, going to a country where English is not spoken, as many of you know, and very few, especially 10 years ago, very few people spoke the language. So let's just go back to how I was feeling and what I observed on my first time. So it was a culture shock, in my opinion. I never really leaving North American continent ever. So, but I slowly started to adapt because I knew people there. I was meeting a girl there and whatnot. So I had someone to sort of help me through the most difficult parts of being in Brazil, which is the language, obviously, but also some cultural things that you don't really see in Canada, U.S., whatever. I talked about it in a video that I'm going to post eventually, but certain things you don't see, like especially in the north zone of Rio, they have cars that go driving around that blare big ass speakers. Like announcements and things like that. And you're just kind of like looking around. I know Brendan's been to the north part of Rio, so he's seen this.
Yep.
It's not too common in the south zone, Copacabana, a little bit, but not much. So my very first experience was in the north zone. I didn't come directly to Zona Sul.
Right.
I spent a couple days in North Zone with the girl and meeting her family, and then we.
You said near Madureira, right?
No, it was Duque de Caxias.
Oh, okay.
It's north of Madureira. It's actually really close to the airport. Galeão.
Yeah, Galeão. Okay.
So we ended up spending like 2 weeks in Copacabana after that, and it was a little easier to adapt in Copacabana and the South Zone because we didn't have so many things all over the place, right? And the beaches, love that stuff. So there was for me a bit of culture shock, but looking back 10 years now, and it'll actually be 10 years in October this year, my very first trip. And each time I would come back, I'd crave more. I'd want to come back. I got used to it. Now it feels like my new home, and even now that when I wasn't living here, each time I'd come back, I felt like, okay, very comfortable. So it takes time, adapting, and that phase it goes away over time, especially if you learn the language.
Right.
It even goes by quicker.
Right. And I want to ask you about that, about the language.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that come here, and to Brazil, and their goal is to stay for a while, and eventually, unfortunately, they cut their time here short because of, like you just mentioned, the language barrier. What are some things that when you first got here, like for like with the language barrier, I guess strategies, ways that you overcame that language barrier here? Because here in Brazil, I mean, it's a huge barrier. It's a huge barrier.
Definitely. I think it's in my opinion, the biggest barrier for you to feel like near 100% comfortable. Because once you have the command of the language, you can talk with people, you can get ideas expressed. Your basic needs get easier as well when you can command even the basic of phrases, like asking to order a meal here or whatever. So, but my tips would be, and I'm going from experience. So it was difficult at the beginning. I'd have to use the translator with the girl for some things, not everything. Sometimes I could communicate a little bit because I had a little bit of my background. My father was born in Portugal, so I have some of the European Portuguese that I learned when I was a child.
Right.
It's not the same accent or whatever, but it's the language, base of the language is the same. Now, I lost a lot of it growing up. I wasn't using it very often. And what I would do is Google Translate. I would use some of those apps that you can get on, I think
Duolingo.
Yeah. I don't know what they were back in the day. They were probably similar. There's one I can't remember. Really, Rosetta Stone. I used Rosetta Stone. I don't know if you guys remember.
Right, I heard of Rosetta Stone. Yeah.
So honestly, if you don't have the will to want to learn the language, if you're not having fun, it's going to be like grueling and a very slow process. If you're having fun with it and you're willing to make mistakes, search words that you don't know, or you hear a word or you read a word, I got to find out what that means. You're on the way, on your way to becoming fluent, or at least intermediate is where you want to be if you're going to be staying here for long periods of time. It's just going to help out a lot of things. So that's what I did. I would force myself to try and speak it. I would put myself in awkward situations, like especially here in Brazil, which is really difficult because you make a jackass out of yourself. You just got to do it. I'm over those processes. Even today, I'm not 100% with the language.
Yeah.
I would say if I had to put myself the percentage around 80%, 80 to 85%. I'm closing on that 100. So you really have to just go for it, study, put in the time, want to learn the language. That's my best advice I can give you for that. Use all the resources. There's free YouTube channels that people teach it.
And speaking of that, because he had a video talking about like certain words. One of my favorites, like the curse words.
Oh yeah.
That some
which is used a lot here. It's become basically part of the regular vocabulary of Brazil. So you'll hear these words everywhere you go. Especially if you go to a football, soccer match or whatever.
Right.
You're gonna hear that. And they're just thrown out commonly, and sometimes not to offend anybody. It's just literally put in there. Like English, we use God damn it or whatever. It's just it's in the language. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's. I think
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite videos you got, man. You got so many, man. And
so we're gonna do more language videos, I think.
Yeah, man. Cause like language is critical, man. It's like the time I was here, man. It's like it seemed like I was up on it, but being out seemed like I had to start all over again, man.
Yeah, if you don't keep up with it, you might lose some of it. So if you're someone who's going to live here or want to live here or stay here even 6 months of the year, you'll be right in there. You'll be doing it, especially if you want to. I just say that, I emphasize on that because it makes the process painless, practically painless, not 100%.
Right, man. So, but yeah, man. So, also Nick, man, I want to know your take on far as like. I know it was another video. I don't know. We talked about it last time about the scams, man.
Oh yeah.
tell me like without, cause I definitely want folks on my side to
Sure.
check out your page and your especially your video. We talk about the scams, man. But yeah, what can like first timers or somebody that's just out coming here, and what can they look out for like for us like the scams? I mean, cause it's a lot, and it really I gotta put this depending on where you go here in Rio in particular, like which particular scams to look out for. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you can like sort of give a quick not overview, but kind of like a guide on how to kind of like be mindful of the scam, because you're gonna run into them, man. That's bottom line. You're gonna run into them, but just let them know like what can they do to sort of alleviate this situation for like being scammed.
So if you're just going to be here like 6 months or less, and you're not going to be living here or whatever, you'll most likely be getting an Airbnb.
Right.
You probably won't be scammed on that. So you won't fall into the problem, the same problem that you won't face the same problem that I faced, because I'm actually renting an apartment like on a yearly basis. You know what I mean? So I don't know if any of your viewers watch that video, but they could even check out my channel. But I talked about some of the maintenance crew there at the building that kind of were scamming a lot of the residents. So that probably won't happen to you. That's somebody who's going to be living like in a rental for, like I mentioned, a yearly or whatever. If you go to Airbnb, you won't have to worry about that. If they try something, you just say no. You know, like if you're unsure of it, you just say no. I'm going to check with the owner of this apartment or whatever. Go through the Airbnb process. Now, other scams here that I don't really encounter because I can command the language, and that's where the language.
That's where the language.
if you see something and you feel like this doesn't seem right, you got to use your gut feeling as well, right? Use your street smarts.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
If you have street smarts, they're gonna really be useful here. You'll be learning some new street smarts when you come here for sure, to add on to the other street smarts, depending on where you're from,
right?
Whatever city you're from in the U.S. or wherever country you're watching this video from. But you just have to sort of, if it seems not right, it probably isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Just if it seems too good, that whole phrase, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Mm-hmm.
As with the girls and things like that, those type of scams I hear about in Colombia quite often. Just don't bring someone to your place if you don't know them. That's other scams on the street or whatever. I can't really say, because they generally have sellers selling things on the boardwalk,
beach. Yeah.
If you think the price is too much about that, just don't buy it. You can find other places. You can haggle if you so choose. But
that's one thing. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's the one thing I like about here. It's like you can negotiate some things. So
yeah, you can. Sometimes they'll just not want to bother selling it for that long.
Yeah, right.
But there's all kinds. There's tons of sellers in the South Zone, all around the city. If you come to Rio, don't worry about like that. But if you think the price is too high, forget it. Now coming back to the girl thing, because I've seen so many videos of guys bringing girls back to their place. I haven't seen so many here in Brazil per se. Maybe the guys don't want to post it because they're too embarrassed. I don't know, but I wouldn't still take that chance. If you're getting to know a girl, maybe go to a third-party location. Get maybe another hotel room or something. Don't bring her back to necessarily where you're staying. Otherwise, guys are going to do it. There's just going to be guys out there that will do it. If you have to do it and you don't want to pay more money for another place or whatever, make sure your shit is protected. That's all I'm going to say. And watch your drinks. Not to say that happens very often.
Right. Yeah. Wow, because what I've been hearing recently about what's going on in Colombia, I'm like, wow.
It's pretty intense there. Like it's happening a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And knock on wood.
Yeah.
Nothing like that has happened to me.
Me either.
Since I've been here
so many times.
Right. So it's kind of like, man, wow, yeah, man. So pretty much, man. So you said you've been here right currently for about a year, right?
I got here on the 23rd of December 2020.
Okay.
So just about a year and 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cause I came here before I left recently in like September, October 2020.
Okay.
So yeah, so it was like right, cause the here's the situation. Like a lot of the countries, they were still shut down, but Brazil was the only country that didn't have, like, at the time, no restrictions. You know, I'm not gonna go into detail what the restrictions are, but whatever. Everybody should know about right about now what I'm talking about. But as far as restrictions, Brazil was the only country that was like wide open. So I was like, wow, huh?
Especially the state of Rio.
Yeah, right. Especially the state of Rio, right. So hey, I was like, man, let me come on down here. So yeah, so we pretty much.
That's why. Yeah. That's why I came here.
Yeah, but for you, so you see. Oh, hey, you got the Fluminense fan right here. It's all good. You know, it's hey, that's all good. You know, hey, you know.
Yeah, in the final, they might face each other in the final.
Oh, that might be serious. Well, at least both teams don't have to go anywhere, right?
See, that happens only in Brazil. In most places, you get somebody who want to talk. And she actually spoke English, so.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's not often you get someone who can.
Nah, not often. But I mean, when you do get it, you get it here in Zona Sul. So you get it here in Zona Sul, man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, like it's crazy, man. It's like, but you've been here for a year straight.
Yeah.
So, cause I know what we were saying previously that as far as like you, like as far as like you have no what's the word? No, I guess desires of going back to where you from.
Only for a visit. and I don't know when that'll be, but I do plan on going back for a visit. I still, you gotta like your country where you come from. But, I don't agree with a lot of stuff there politically, but we won't go there. Weather-wise, I can't deal with the long winters. I don't know if you've ever been to Canada or whatever. Many of you maybe watching this live in a state in the U.S. that encounter really terrible winters. So for me, that was a no-brainer. The money goes a long way here as well. Even though it's in the Canadian dollar, it's still much stronger than the real.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't like that. Like, let's just say 5 years ago when I came on vacation.
It was almost 2 to 1, right?
Almost, pretty much. So really, it was still okay, but it was now it's like it's not good for the Brazilian economy.
Yeah, right.
But for us,
great for us.
Oh man, like, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been coming here many times. This will be, if I had to count how many times I've been coming here, this would be number, so 2012, 2017, 2012, 2013, I lived here for the first time. I was teaching English.
So how long you lived the first time here?
I was here for 9 months.
9 months, okay.
And I was living in the North Zone. I wasn't living in...
So you were living in the North Zone?
Oh yeah. 10 months. And I was teaching English there.
Was you teaching online or were you taking like at an actual school in the area?
At a school in the area.
Okay.
So I'd literally walk to the school and back.
Oh wow.
I teach classes like 4 or 5 times a week.
Oh wow. So so how was that? Like just going?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. It's an experience. I think if you guys want to be able to sustain a trip here, like even if it's a short, like let's say 6 months, you could get hired at one of these smaller English schools. The pay isn't great, but it will pay for most of the stuff you're going to spend here. You'll have an experience by teaching people. You might not have the most free time, so there might be the negative, but it's a really cool experience. People invite you out, the faculty, whatever. Right. It was a great experience. I do recommend it for people who want to teach English and maybe don't have a ton of money to spend while they're here for long term. You know what I mean? Right. So that might be an option. And in the North Zone or whatever, it's a lot cheaper living costs or cost of living. So
I definitely agree. Agree to that. I definitely agree to that, man. It's like now that'd be a good segue to this right here. Cost of living.
Okay.
Now, of course, where we come from, from North America. Money is how to say is in abundance. But if you living currently in either Canada or United States, I'm quite sure, especially in one of the big cities, like maybe New York City or maybe a Toronto, maybe a Los Angeles. I'm quite sure you're paying. man,
A ton of money.
outrageous.
My thing is, if you're gonna live in like a city like New York or Toronto or whatever, some of the Miami maybe, you gotta hustle. Unless you're like very, very wealthy, you gotta hustle to get by.
And I know that's gonna take a toll.
Yeah.
And I see what the solution for a lot of people, including us, was like, hey, we gotta get up out of here. So I see a lot of people like especially the past, especially since the pandemic, man. They was like, you know what? I'm tired of paying these high prices on rent, on food, going out. Man, just going to my mailbox seems like I'm spending $50 just going to my mailbox. So a lot of folks, they like, hey, I'm gonna pack my bags. I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Colombia. I'm coming to Brazil. I'm starting to see a lot of that now. So
a lot of Canadians went to Mexico. Actually, there's a lot of expats in Mexico. Yeah,
Mexico
because of cost of living,
right?
Weather-wise as well. My advice for people, if you want to get out of the rat race, what was my goal all along, I don't believe in doing the 9 to 5 crap.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Right.
If you do that, awesome.
Yeah.
Or hustle. I respect a hustle. Okay, if you're making money on the side, and good for you.
Yeah.
But I want to enjoy more of the time that I have on this earth. While I'm still young enough. Not when I'm 65.
Right.
Money.
Yeah, but you can't enjoy it. Right.
No.
Right.
So you got to find that comfort medium. You got to have some sort of passive income, or like me, I teach English online here to make extra money. I have some assets at home that I make money, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm hoping YouTube will help me out a little bit, whatever, when it gets there. And you just got to have an overall balanced attack with your portfolio, and being able to have more free time to do what you want.
Right.
That's what I would say. And here the weather's so good, and today it's like what, overcast. It's not as hot, but it's still acceptable to be out here.
Better
in a t-shirt or whatever.
Right.
And that's all year round, pretty much. I can be outside pretty much all year round and do what I want and have more free time. We're in Canada in the wintertime. You got to put all the clothes on. Brandon won't know so much. He's down south, but you don't know what minus.
It gets pretty chilly in Atlanta sometimes, man. Once every 2 years.
Putting all that clothes on to go to the store.
Yeah.
I'm done, man.
Yeah.
So, anybody can do it. Get your finances in order. Get your shit together, like a lot of people say, and you'll have a good time here. You'll meet a girl here if you want to meet a girl here. Maybe Brandon wants to talk about that. I'm not sure.
Well, hey, when it comes to that category, man, I'm not probably the one you want to go to.
You could ask me if you want.
That's one. Well, where should I start? Well, how you want? Hey, well, I'll let you.
Let's put it this way: there's a growing movement now of like North Americans and whatever who are just tired of the dating scene back home, and it's true. I was able to go on dates when I was back home. I was able to meet a girl once in a while, but just so many games, the head games. You can watch other videos of guys. They have time. I won't go too in depth on it, but man, the dating scene is a lot better here. That's coming from 100% truth. I'm in a relationship now, and it's so much more fun being in a relationship with her than any girl I ever dated in the past. That wasn't Brazilian. I can vouch for that 100%. So, hey, don't take it from me. Check out other videos. There's guys who have YouTube channels and they talk about it as well.
Hey, there you go.
So
there you go. It seems like that's been the consensus. It's like back in the West, the dating is off.
There's something wrong. There's a lot of reasons, but it's just better escape the headache. Avoid all that crap. Wasting your time. There's a lot of good girls back home. Don't get me wrong. But it's far and few between.
Yeah, and it's like the effort, the energy you got to go through just to find them. It's like, man, it takes a toll on you. So hey, might as well just, take that little flight or big flight, depending on where you're going, and hey, you have better times wherever you go. That's not Canada or United States.
Come check out Real. You most definitely won't.
Oh man. Yeah, Rio, man. And about Rio. So, what has been like your favorite part of Rio that you like living in?
Favorite part of Rio living in?
Yeah.
If I haven't lived there per se, but if I could choose a place that I would want to live, it would be Barra da Tijuca.
Ah,
So it's a little out west of the city.
Right,
western part of the city.
right.
It's still, I think it's still, it's
Zona OH, yeah.
Zona OH.
Yeah.
But it's, if you could be able to live there, that in my opinion would be the creme de la
Creme de la creme. Exactly. Exactly.
I don't recommend Copa. I'm living in Copa currently. It was good for like the first 6 months, 7 months, but then it loses its...
It loses, yeah.
It's just a lot of different things that are wrong with it. It's noisy. There's a lot of the little thieves that run around.
Right.
So you gotta be extra more careful because it's a touristy area. It's a very touristy area.
Now, I was about to ask, now for a first timer, would you recommend somebody going to like Copa just to get a feel for everything?
100%. I would recommend Copa, Ipanema, Leme, which is a small. It's like right next to Copa on the west side.
Right.
It's maybe only like 6-7 blocks. Of
if that.
Right. Only be 5.
It's small. It's small.
But I would, if you're gonna only be here for a couple weeks, spend it in like Copa or Ipanema. I mean, Copacabana is cheaper than Ipanema and Leblon. But if you could choose, it's a good experience, I would say. For a first timer, yeah. And it's got everything you need. Yeah,
right.
It has everything.
Right. So how long would you say, like speaking of the first timer, how long should they stay like here in Rio in particular? Like it's their first time visiting. We say 5 days, 10 days. How long do you think for them to get the full? They won't get the full Brazilian experience, but they will at least get a gist of Rio. How long do you think they should come to visit here?
One thing I always say, and a lot of guys say this, Rio is not only Brazil. Like Brazil is not only Rio, right?
Right.
But it is definitely like the epicenter, I would say. You know, it's one of those places that has everything. It has the cultural places, it has the beaches, it has, you know. So for a first timer, I would say if you want to get a good amount of time to exposed here and enjoy it, the minimum I would say is 10 days.
10 days.
Between 10 and 21 days. Around there, you know. So
I agree with that.
2 to 3 weeks.
I agree with that. Because Rio is
you won't get it in, like, I know guys who were passing through or whatever because they work for airlines or whatnot, and they stay like 2 days or whatever, or a day. I mean, you can get, if you're coming here often and it's like you're working that, you might be able to get it in over time. But one day doesn't, or a few days doesn't serve justice.
No. I know people that you do what you can with what you have.
Yeah, for sure.
I know people that come here and like say, hey, I'm gonna be here for Thursday. I'm gonna leave out Monday or Tuesday. I'm like, man, you just can't do Rio like that, man.
Especially if it's your first time.
Yeah, especially your first time, man.
You're gonna miss out.
Yeah, you gonna miss out a lot, man.
Yeah. If it's the minimum, if I had to say, like for someone who can't, stay, or they want to visit a whole bunch of places.
Right.
Like 4 to 5 days.
4 to 5. Yep.
You'll get some experience, and you'll get a taste of what it is to be in Rio. At least 4 or 5 days. But I would say to get a really good absorbed amount of, a taste of the culture and meet people or whatever, 10 to 21 days. So like 2 or 3 weeks, like that.
That's
That's a good amount.
That's a good amount, man. I mean, 'cause like you said, you definitely gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out on a lot here, and so cause my first trip, man, it was a day, and I was one of the former employees of aviation, so. Employees of aviation, so I did the 1 day thing, so I did a lot of those trips here.
Well, at least you were working, so you got it in.
Right.
Okay.
So
I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Right. So, but I didn't get that experience of Rio until I did get some time off, and for Carnival 2019, I did get to experience the real deal Rio.
The real Rio, yeah.
Yeah, it was Carnival. It was incredible, man.
Yeah, Carnival is a whole other.
Yeah. So so that's a good little segue with that. Okay. So Carnival. So what is your whole? Cause you did Carnival, right?
Yeah, I did. I did Carnival in 2020.
Yeah. So go ahead, man. Just tell about Carnival.
It's a whole other if you're a partier and you like to, go out, meet people, drink, whatever, this is for you. Like, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna get soaked. You're gonna get like all kinds of colored stuff thrown on you, whatever, paint. All they've probably seen the videos, but it is next level shit. I mean,
Yeah.
It's worth checking out. I would just say, always a cautionary. When you bring stuff with you, whatever, just be careful when you go in, because it's just you're caught in between so many people.
Definitely.
But it's definitely worth doing at least once in your life if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and definitely like when you get ready to make your accommodations for a carnival, make sure you book at least I would say 6 months or a year in advance.
Yeah,
because and make sure you just take a little bit extra money too, because around carnival things get a little bit higher. So that's just a word. It's a word of caution. So, but yeah, definitely, Dick, man. Hey, man. Any last things you wanna just tell the people out here?
Yeah, the only thing I could say is just come check out Rio, man. I mean, there's so many people saying good things about it. Obviously, there's a negative side about it. It's got a negative rap, a bad rap, but it's really, the media overblows it. I've been coming here many years. It's worth checking out. You don't necessarily have to come and live here, but if you're a traveler and you want to check out new cultures or whatever, check out Brazil. And don't just check out Rio. If you can, check out the northern part, Salvador, or even Sao Paulo if you like big cities. Just check it out. That's all I can tell you, man. I mean, I could sit here and tell you so many stories and whatever, and put Brazil up on a pedestal, but until you're here yourself and here on the ground, you won't really know what the full feeling of what it is to be here.
Exactly, man. Definitely, man. Hey, well, yeah, I appreciate you taking some time out, man.
My pleasure.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So, all right, before we go, hey, shoot everybody, how they can contact you, how they can hit you up, and all that good stuff. So
for sure. So I have a YouTube channel, like Brendan mentioned, Nick Talks Brazil. I also have Instagram. You can find the Instagram either you can put it on the screen or on my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram as well. So yeah, check it out.
all right, cool. Well, folks, hey, this B, man. Hey, I'm glad to be back here, man. So, hey, well, like I said earlier, what a great introduction right here, man.
Yeah,
Nick Talks Brazil, man.
And he has a smile on his face since I saw him the last time. So
Hey, and I wish y'all could see the smile right now that I have, man. So yeah, Nick, appreciate you, man. And yo, it's gonna be plenty more.
Awesome.
I already know it's gonna be plenty more, bro.
100%.
All right, man.
Take care, guys.
All right.